This is the Get Down podcast. Don't touch the mic. I'm Paulo 13.
I'm Frantic.
I'm King Wooz. Special guest today.
Yes. Special guest, special human, 113th the sip set, and a beautiful human being. Thank you for coming on our show today, bro.
No, thank you for having me, for real.
Always. We just got this idea. Actually, I think it was more Frantic in Israel. They just dragged me into it. So now here we are. Here's the Get Down podcast, and here we are with my brothers, Frantic and King Wooz. All right, brother, let's hop into it. What have you been up to lately?
Just working away, like jotting down ideas for the next project, trying to figure out what I'm doing, what I want it to sound like. Yeah. You know, like focusing on the release of Redemption that was October 17th. You know, really trying to gain traction when, like, being stuck in the house.
Stuck in the house, yeah.
And it's definitely hard, like, mentally for me to, like, try to, like, grasp that. Because I'm used to, like, going out performing.
Yeah.
Predominantly after a release. So it's, like, it's really a big thing. So there's only one performance after I release, but just trying to focus on other stuff.
What's good, though, is the step back from, like, to, like, I don't know, I feel like these days, because I'm, like, stuck at home, COVID, y'all probably stuck at home, too. If not, you should be. Is that I feel like I'm in, like, the war room, like, getting ready, like, I'm preparing for battle, like, I got papers everywhere, rolling papers and writing papers. And just, like, all these ideas I got, like, I'm gonna do it. Like you know, I've been toying, like, Frantic has got, he's working on a project in French.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so I've been toying with doing an album in Arabic. So, like, I'm just like,
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Just like
fucking another next level shit. I ain't even got a second language, so.
shit. Sometimes all you need is one. You use that one language pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, we were actually, we were getting ready for this last night, so we were bumping all your discography from entering to Redemption, and like, I don't know, man, just like listening to the growth and the changes, like, over that period was insane. Like, The Abyss is a fantastic album.
Thank you. I feel so, like I'm over it, as any artist gets over the projects after time.
Oh,
on the next one, but like, that was a really fun project. I got to work very closely with Fester and Ghetto Socks on that, and really, like, work in studio, which I never had the luxury to do because a lot of it was like pay for studio time by the hour, and it's like when you have such a solid camp around you, just like with the resources, I was able to like sit in the studio. Maybe I was there all day while other people were recording, but I'm still able to.
Well, you're soaking it out,
exactly,
right?
and it's
you're
like
soaking it out.
It was really lax, and Fester at Satellite Studios. Shout out to Fester.
Shout out Fester.
He always held it down. He still holds it down.
Always.
He made everything as easy as possible for me, and always making sure I was getting the best takes and making sure my shit was sounding tight. So,
Big shout out to DJ Uncle Fester. I recorded my last album with him, Stunt to Grow.
Phenomenal Alchemy.
Yeah, he's, like, as far as production and engineering goes, like, I don't know, I found just working with Fester, like, the step up of, like, the sound quality and, like, everything, just, like, I felt more comfortable. Like, where you record and who you record with is important.
I'm gonna tell you right now, engineering, your engineer is the next level to your music, because
of course,
if you don't have a good engineer and they're just literally taking your fucking money, you might as well chalk it up as a loss, because if they're not sitting there and telling you, like, the first half of that was good, like, all right, go back, let's fucking get this take, and we should, like, and when we're so deep in it that we're like, oh fuck, that take with the bomb, that shit was that was the one, and then he's like, nope, that wasn't the one, you got better. Yeah, and that's what Fester does for me. He does for all the artists that come through his studio, and it's like, you can get a better take. Yeah, you can get a better take. All right, and he's like, he's compiling all these takes, and then you get to pick through and be like, okay, I want this one. And when you listen back, you're like, all right, I like the style of this one, but the delivery was better on this one. And then you're like bringing those two together.
He won't even just say, like, do another one. Sometimes he'll just be like, yo, like, slow it down a little bit. Like, your cadence sounds better when you're in the cut. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you're Russian. And
it sounds like you're Russian. Like, I don't know if he's ever done this to you, but he sent my ass home when I was recording a song for my album because I wasn't ready. I was probably partying the night before or whatever. He was like, no, you're not ready. Go home. Come back next week and get it right. And, like, at the time I was like, man, shit, I'm here now. Like, come on. But like that's what you need to make your sound sonically the best, right? Because like you can write the dopest song, but if
I like my like honestly, like the day I write that, I don't like recording. And there's been times where I tried to rush and I haven't gotten the best. Okay.
No.
Like, okay, cool, now you have a reference. But I've been sent home from the best.
it's like got sent home from school.
It has happened to me. He's like, yo, no, you're not too familiar with this.
Give him
And
the
he's
sleep
like,
sticker.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? He's like, take that home, get familiar with it, blah, blah, blah. We'll come back next week and we'll fucking bang it over.
But
And it's like,
it's just he cares.
and that's
right?
it. And he doesn't want it. He doesn't want you to put out something that isn't
Subpar.
exactly.
Right.
He doesn't. He knows when you got quality in you. So
He
it's
didn't
like,
even like one of my beats on the project. I forget who produced it, but he was just like, "No, here you go, boop."
all right, we go. I got something new. For
Yeah,
you.
he's
Here we
like,
go.
nah.
It's like-
He's like, this is mixed poorly. Like, boop.
that was
here
like
you go.
grandmother handing you a 20. Don't let no one see
Yeah,
you.
don't tell your mama. Don't tell your mama.
That's
I'm
when
gonna buy
you
some
said.
candy.
Yeah, like, and that's so. Shout out to all the great engineers for one, because it does help you take your artistry to the next level, and it's very important. But that's what Fesher has like gave to me, and like allowed me to realize like this is what you need from an engineer. Another engineer I used to work with, Limpro, now counselor of District 8, Lindell Smith.
Hey.
He was that engineer for me, and then after he left Centerline Studios, I didn't have that. We had Jordan Metro, which was a really dope engineer and producer. But if he wasn't comfortable with you, he didn't want to feel, he wasn't good at giving that constructive.
Telling you,
Yeah.
well, it's
and
wrong.
it might have been a thing where we weren't like close.
You weren't close
Yeah,
enough.
and so it was like, it was a little different to give that constructive criticism. And and honestly, it is easier to give it to somebody you're close with.
You know,
right?
exactly.
But it's a skill that people have to pick up on, just like we have to pick up on our rap.
Yeah, it's like engineers, like rappers are in the main, like they're out front, right?
Yeah.
They get all the love and recognition, right?
But there's
really,
pieces.
it's like if you don't have a good engineer and if you don't have good producers and like if you don't have a good team, you really ain't shit.
No.
You can be dope as fuck, but it doesn't matter. Like, you know, like I was listening to some of my old songs. I dropped like a compilation album of like just old music, just so people could see the journey,
It was
right?
sitting around, yeah.
And like, just listening to the sound quality, I would like listen to it side by side with my new shit. And I was like, you know, this song was dope, but this could never be on the radio. It sounds
Exactly.
like, you know,
Yeah.
it sounds like Enter the 36 Chambers, which is an amazing album. Like, not the lyrics and shit sounded like Enter the 36 Chambers, but it sounded like it was recorded in a closet in 1990. You know, like.
I was on my phone.
Yeah, I was like,
my phone
it was
recording that shit.
recorded on a Nokia, like with Snake, you know, not even a flip phone.
Yeah, with the 4 buttons, yeah. All right. That's crazy.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey. Like, where you when did you start? Like, do you remember when you wrote your first song?
Yeah, funny enough, I was like 14 when I first wrote my first constructed track, I guess, like full through and through. It was to Sky's the Limit. Whose beat was that? Was it?
Sky's the Limit isn't not the Biggie joint?
No, it was like man, no, I think it was a Mike Jones beat. I think it was Mike Jones.
Jones.
It was a Mike Jones beat.
Shout out Mike Jones.
I'm not doing that. No, I'm joking. I'm
Oh, man, do not hit on Mike Jones.
No. But,
Mike Jones is smart, actually.
He's
So
very.
he took all that money and invested it in real estate, and he's actually like a real estate mogul.
Why fucking not? Because you sell property, people are buying property all fucking
Hey,
time.
if you are in the industry, invest your money, because this shit will not last forever.
And I didn't even get it yet. No.
Yeah, it might not even come. It might
not
never
come.
even
I'm
come.
gonna tell you, it's an unforgiving type of game.
Invest your money.
But yeah, like first track was written to a Mike Jones beat. I forget exactly. I think it was Mr. Jones. That beat, really dope ass beat. And yeah, I was like, I don't know, grade 9, just writing my shit every morning before I went to school. And it was funny because like while I was writing that song, it probably took me like fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I would put it on as my fucking alarm clock off my iPod. In my head, like the fucking speakers right next to my bed. So every morning I would wake up, listen to that beat, and I'd be like, all right, cool. Here's some bars every morning. And it was like, I don't even think I had a chorus. It was just straight bars, and I like went over. But like, yeah, that was one of my first tracks. Couldn't tell you a goddamn lyric off of there, which is sad. I should be able to. I probably have the actual verse somewhere, but.
My alarm clock is Hustle and Motivate by Nipsey Hussle. It's the only thing that'll get me out of bed.
Yeah.
Besides weed.
Powerful words.
But
real shit too.
I found one of my ones, like, actually the first song, like, I remember writing it. I was like 13. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to impress a girl.
We all have our ulterior motives in the beginning.
That's really how I wrote. That's how I started rapping. I was a loser, and I was trying to be cool. I was like, man, what does Lil Wayne got that I don't?
All right, let's start the list.
That I don't.
At that point, it's like, let's start the list.
13-year-old chubby ass little brown kid. Just like,
this Lil Wayne
I was like, what the Lil Wayne got that I don't? Weezy ass baby, man. Fuck you, cut.
Looking in the mirror, fuck him. You're like fucking hyping yourself up. That'd be funny.
I'd get so mad. He don't even really play the guitar. It's all that. Just a skateboard.
Yeah. Crazy. But honestly, in the beginning, one of my biggest influences was Lil Wayne. I think all-time favorite albums, if I had to top 5 in no particular order, would be The Carter 2 is in there.
The Carter 2 is a really good album.
And so it's like having that, and I don't know, it was really, that album really fucking had me hooked at that time, and like it spoke to me, and it, like I related to it a bit. Like not all the shit on there, obviously. I was 14. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, when I was, like my first introduction to Lil Wayne was The Carter 3, actually. Mm-hmm. Right? And at the time, especially being young, I was really like a hip hop purist. You know what I mean? Like I was just a snob, basically. I just thought, fuck everybody. Anyways, I just didn't like that style of like rap. But as when I found the Carter 2 and the Carter 1, I actually really, really enjoyed those projects. It was
the craziest thing is going from the Carter 1 to the Carter 2 and listening to them back to back, and it's like, holy shit, the growth that he showed between those two projects were really fucking
He was
dope.
a kid.
Exactly. It's like he's like 19, 20, 21. And it's like, holy fuck, he's putting out this kind of music? Like, holy shit.
Like, Lil Wayne's been doing this since he was like, he's been famous since he was like 12.
Exactly. Like, you grew up in a lifestyle. It's like, all right, we're going to make this money. And this is how we're going to do it. Just rap, write bars, go to school.
Yeah.
And we're going to make money. That's like, what is bad? Like you just got to go through school. You got to get through high school.
He was in the Hot Boys and he wasn't allowed to curse on the songs. He was like on tour with like Juvenile and then he couldn't curse. And you know, like whatever they were doing is a lot worse than cursing. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I could only imagine
this
what
like
was backstage.
aesthetic of like, you're the young guy and you're the kid. You're the youngest here. So it's like, fuck.
It's hard being the baby of the bunch, ain't it?
Right. And it's like, I don't know, you just think about that and you just like look at that and like how those breaks happen for some people, you know? And like some people never catch that break. And then there's some people that catch that break well before they're ready for it. Not to say he wasn't ready for it, but there's people that do catch that break before they're ready for it.
Well, I mean, when you're young, when you're like real young, you're not really, like somebody's guiding you. Somebody's telling you what to do, right?
100%.
Like this is kind of this is a different example, but like, you know, somebody like a Justin Bieber, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, somebody found him and they're just like, we can market the fuck out of this kid.
Shout out to Usher,
right?
That's his fault.
What?
Usher,
yeah, that was Usher.
Usher. Like, and it's like, yeah, so it's like you have someone that like hones in like that guy over there.
Yeah. And then once you're in the room with millions of dollars and like 10 writers, right? Like
easy.
And like, you know, and you're a kid, right? So somebody's like, here, sing this.
Yeah.
I'll buy your family a house. Whatever. You're just gonna fucking do it.
100%. And then it's like you have all those people just funneling money into you and being like, all right, cool. Like, this is what we want them to look like. This is what we want them to sing about. This is what we want them to do. And this is what we want their tour to look like. And the Justin Bieber thing is fucking ridiculous because he was superstar.
Yeah.
At 15 years old. With like selling out big arenas. Yeah. With kids.
Yeah, and here's the other thing though. Here's the other thing, right? He on the flip side, he's getting hated on too. By adults, by grown-ass men, they're like, fuck this kid. He makes music for kids. Like, yeah, he makes music for kids. He is a kid. You know what I mean? So like you're being thrust into this world where you're not even a person. You're a commodity. You're an investment to people.
100%.
Right?
You have
and
access to all that party lifestyle and shit like that.
Yeah, and you got the money and like you got the ego, right? You're like, you're 17,
At the top of the world.
Yeah, you're like, I got $20 million. I'm 17. Fuck you, mom. I would never say that. I would get my ass beat by my mom and my dad. All my ancestors with the fury of my ancestors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're 17, you got $20 million. Like, your ego is inflated, right?
And that's it. You grow up with that God complex and you just move into that world of like, what can I spend my money on to bring me thrills?
Of course.
But yeah, he was superstar at like 12 years old kind of shit. It's like crazy.
Yeah, but like, let's get back to Weezy for a second. Listen to that, like, early Lil Wayne didn't rap like the Carter 3 after Lil Wayne. Mm-hmm. Not really.
No.
There's a big difference. It's kind of like if you listen to like Eminem before Recovery. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Eminem like literally changed his whole style of rap when he quit drugs. Like,
well, that's like I'm not a big Eminem fan, but I do respect him. Like, but like if you listen to Royce da 5'9", you listen to his old shit.
Yeah.
After he stopped drinking, his shit was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because his shit was heat before.
Yeah, Royce was
but
always
it was like,
heat.
And it was like, but it wasn't pinpoint. It wasn't,
There wasn't the focus.
Yeah.
It was
like,
too...
I'm just fucking rapping and I'm like, and it's like, and always gonna give you fucking heat, but there was more aim and there was more focus and there was more direction with that sobriety.
When you're fucked up all the time, it's really hard to get your best out. And
that's it.
Yeah, and the funny thing about being an artist is being an artist is like intrinsically linked with like drug use and alcoholism and like
mental
all
health.
Sorts of shit, mental health. And it's funny, like the stigma of like, I can't write if I'm not drunk. I can't write if I'm not stoned. I can't write if I'm not, this, that, and the other.
Exactly.
And like, I wonder to what extent people are like really, they think they're doing their thing, but they're really stunting their growth.
There's just probably a lot of
That's what you can get the plug in.
Yeah, get the plug. But no, there's definitely, I've been in those parts where I'm like, okay, I've been drinking a lot, or I have like, my focus is off after I'm drinking. Like,
yeah.
Like, and it's like, even in your daily fucking life, just imagine drinking for a weekend or fucking 4 days straight and then trying to fucking get back to work on the 5th day.
Yeah.
You're fucking tired. You're like, but I gotta get this done. And so you're kind of rushing that process and you're pushing something that won't be your best. And that's what happens when you use these substances, is like it dulls your like fucking dulls your blade, I guess, if that's what you want to say, like, right? Because it's like it's no matter how sharp you think it is, maybe you might be drunk while you're writing that, or maybe you might be high when you're writing that shit, but that is false confidence. It's like you get drunk, you got 5 shots in you, but that girl across there is looking really good, and I would never talk to her sober, but tonight I'm getting it.
Yeah.
It's that false confidence and that liquid courage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
I can kick that dude's ass.
Yeah.
You can just roll on you know what I mean?
All right. You wrote it.
Sleep.
It's like, fuck, man. So it's like we know it has that effect on us, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that security blanket for a lot of people. Because like you said, like there's people that use substances and there's people that create even visual art and they're like, I can't paint unless I'm high. I can't paint unless I've got this. And like, created that safe atmosphere, that secure atmosphere.
It's funny because like, I smoke weed a lot. You guys know this about me. But like, I find it difficult to write if I don't got weed, right? And it's not like the weed lets me tap into some shit that like wouldn't be there otherwise. It's more so that if I don't got weed, I'm probably anxious as fuck and freaking out and I ain't sitting down to write anything.
And there's
right?
a difference. There's a difference there, yeah, true.
So like, but like, I'm not saying that as like, oh, like weed, but like, I guess I'm kind of saying like I've been trying to practice actually not smoking while I write just to see what the difference is, right? Because I just see it. I don't see it as just like, oh, this is part of my art. I just see it as like it's part of my life and something I'm trying to like not shy away from. But I just want to like I don't want it to be like I don't want to feel like I need weed to write. I don't want to feel like I need weed to like because that's just not it.
I see, and that's it. And it's a really big thing for a lot of people. It's like, because they're so stuck in creating the circumstance, right? And being like really focused on like, okay, I did that successfully, and this is what I needed to do that successfully. It's like a athlete that uses steroids.
Yeah.
It's like, but I can't not use steroids because I won't be able to perform at that level. Of course you fucking won't. You just fucking enhanced all your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You got muscles coming over your fingernails. Like, why? Like, it's like, all right, cool. Of course you're not going to be able to lift as much or some stupid shit like that. It's like when you, like, but they created that thing, but they never gave themselves that chance to create without, So,
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, they didn't give themselves a chance to see how good they could actually be.
But for you, it's like you're a daily smoker. You smoke. You're walking down the street, I'm smoking because I smoke the function. There's people that just smoke the function, which some people are opposed to, which some people like, oh, I don't get that. I don't know how to smoke the function. But like, my brother's a fucking, like, he smokes the function. He's just like, all right, I got wake up, smoke his joint, get his good day going, and fine. But like, there's that thing, that line between, okay, I'm about to do this, I need this, and I need this to create.
It's funny. Like how drugs affect people so differently. Like, I smoke a joint, I'm cooling. Yeah. Somebody else smokes a joint, they get I get paranoid.
That's me, I don't smoke weed, I get paranoid.
Yeah.
I get paranoid as fuck, man. It's like, I'm like, why is he staring at me?
It was funny, my cousin used to smoke all the time, and one day, it just started making her crazy, paranoid and anxious.
See, and it happens, and it's like, there's different strands of weed, from what I'm told, is like that can trigger like psychosis and like just different chemical reactions for different people because it can, like, if you're not smoking the right shit.
Yeah. Whatever you put in your body, you got to be careful. Water, food, liquor, drugs, whatever, air you breathing in. Hip hop is especially like linked to drugs in a lot of different ways, especially these days.
It started with drugs. It was a drug wrapped about culture from like, I would say like the 90s, early 2000s, and then it's like, now it comes into drug consumption. It was like, all right, we sell drugs. How about we start using those fucking drugs, It was like that fucking like, that major flip. Now you got kids openly talking about they need fucking 10 Xans a day to fucking function and then glorifying it and they're like, I'm a drug addict, B. Look at me. Look at what this did to me. Look at these jewels on my neck.
There's
I'm gonna pop me apart.
But
there's a glorification
they don't
of
shoot
being...
the part where everyone's like asleep though.
There's a glorification.
Come to my parties.
Come have a sleepover.
I'll take that.
Like, bring your blankets and shit, B.
Yeah, fuck. Well, you ain't got a blanket, I'm gonna cover you with the floor mat.
I guess my example is, I don't know, we all know people that have been like in the game or whatever, right? And a lot of people that start out selling drugs end up becoming addicted to drugs. A lot of times. Like you only get so much mileage. And like, if hip hop was a person, that's almost what happened to hip hop.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's also how like the mainstream industry marketed it. It's like, how do we capitalize off this? So I'm gonna tell you right now, my conspiracy theory is the upper heads in the fucking hip hop industry are drug dealers. And if I want you to take drugs, I'm gonna tell you to fucking rap about it. Yeah, because like we pay for what people want to, like, we want people to consume. Like, we got this 902 lit shirt here at the head of the table. We want people to recognize it, so we're gonna promote it.
Yeah.
And so like, if you don't want people to do drugs, you're not gonna get people to promote it. And you're not gonna pay someone to rap about drugs. Because it's not gonna help you any if you're not selling drugs. So you're selling fucking drugs It adds up, man.
And
It's
the,
like, you know,
the
it's like,
popular drugs too are like pharmaceuticals.
it's
and
yeah,
stuff,
no, it's
right?
over the counter
So,
shit, and that's what it is. It's like you go,
You're
take a
down, like
fucking
your
pill.
Ativan, your fucking
Exactly.
Xannies,
Yeah.
whatever Percocets, even like ADD meds and shit.
Exactly, man. Yeah. All right, cool. I think we can sell some fucking merch here. Regardless if they buy it, they're buying it from someone that already purchased it.
Yeah.
So that person needs to purchase more because someone stole their shit.
Yeah, and I know it's good for you.
Drugs
Yeah.
are not.
Drugs are not.
And that's but the point is like we don't put money behind what we don't believe in.
Facts.
Yeah.
And that's just the real fucking reality of it. And it's like, if I'm going to tell you to fucking rap about drugs for fucking 9 albums,
Yeah.
the person that's paying me to do this is probably selling fucking drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course. There's certain things that'll always sell too.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was actually watching an interview of Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Shout out Bone Thugs. And he was in the industry, like not just as an artist. He was like, you know, doing promotion, like all sorts of shit. And he was invited to this meeting of like top people in hip hop from like a friend of his in the industry. So they went to this meeting. I'll make this quick. Sorry. They went to this meeting. Okay, there's a bunch of the higher ups in hip hop. They're supposed to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, they sign it. Somebody comes in the room that he doesn't know. He basically says, a lot of us are basically we have an investment opportunity for you. We're building privatized prisons and we're trying to fill the prisons up, right? And you guys as artists, we want you to push hip hop in a more gangster like direction. Like, you know, they wanted to get rid of like, you know, the KRSs and like.
Yeah, you didn't want that positive rap. They're like, you know what? Because that doesn't make people want to go to jail. That doesn't make people sell drugs. That doesn't. So what happens? Like, yeah, you rap about drugs, you rap about gun violence, you rap about all these other shit. You rap about womenizing women and fucking selling ass. All those things are illegal. You rap about illegal shit, people are gonna want to do illegal shit, which in turn puts them in a fucking prison. And also on the other flip side, if there's money opportunities, they're gonna take them.
Yeah.
Like it's all like, you know, it's a big fucking umbrella. It's a tree that they fucking grow with a purpose.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, like how hip hop has made gangsterism is like seeped into the suburbs.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like you see like little fucking Kyle with his fucking full champion tracksuit and motherfucking Supreme fanny pack.
Yeah, it's the hip hop culture,
shit.
right? It's like, and that's how powerful.
But that specific
hip-hop is.
aspect of the hip hop culture, like it is the hip hop culture, but it's really the lifestyle aspect. It's not like the peace, love, unity, and having fun hip hop.
No.
It's like
It's the flyest fucking I gotta fucking.
it's like I'm balling, you know.
Yeah.
I do what I want. Fuck the haters, you know, that kind of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at all my drip.
It's
you
like
know
that
what I
little
mean?
little white girl off fucking Dr. Phil.
Bad baby.
Yeah,
like, and
Bad
it's like-
baby.
That fucking instance of like, you know, you're watching someone that grew up in a different environment other than the hood and wasn't exposed to that culture, because there's white people that grew up in the hood.
Of
Facts.
course, of
Facts
course.
the matter.
110%.
But then you have someone that embraces it now as like just that fucking road off kid and that's arguing with their mother like, fuck you, Debbie. You ain't tell me what the fuck to do. I'm your mother, listen. And then you'd be like, oh my God, I can't get my daughter straight. Don't take her to Dr. Phil. And then she's like, meet me outside, catch me outside. And now she's fucking famous and now she's like a fucking, not to throw a stereotype out there, she's a hood rat.
yeah.
Like, you know, like that behavior of like, I don't give a fuck, no one can tell
We
me
reward
nothing.
shitty behavior a lot these
Yeah.
days, I think. And like, so I was watching King of the Hill. I don't know why this.
What a show.
I was watching King of the Hill. Just smoke too, probably just like let it back, you know what I mean?
Only time you can understand Boom Out.
Oh man, I when I got older and I started smoking and drinking and shit, I started understanding what he said. But yeah, and so Hank Hill gets mad at Bobby, he's listening to rap, and Peggy Hill goes, "Oh, gangsters and hoes is the new cowboys and Indians."
Wow.
And I was just like,
She learned some shit.
that's actually like facts though. You know, like kids aren't running around with their like little fucking cowboy hat, like shoo, I gotcha. And they're like they're playing gangster.
No, and that's like it's funny because like my kids watch a lot of YouTube, and like there was like fucking like a month of like I think it was like in January or no like June, and my son's watching a ton of fucking like YouTube videos, but it's this one video that like kind of like stems off into like related videos, and it's like this kid, he's being a cop and his dad's like the bad guy, and it like he's just telling like the kid's just running around saying boom boom shooting the bad guy, and it's not like, you know, it's like that fucking stigma of police of like he's like holy fuck, he's just shooting the bad guy, you're bad, you're going to jail. Like there was no like protected serve, you know, like like that fucking thing. It was like, well, like now our kids are thinking that police just shoot and arrest people.
Yeah, well,
and that's the job of police officers. People have to they shoot. They shoot them. They shoot them up. They put them in jail.
That's media too, though. Like, that's just the media, right?
And
like,
that's the whole fucking thing. And then it branched off into a ton of these.
You watch cop movies.
I gotta get them off of this shit.
You watch cop. Like, if you ever watch cop movies, I don't think they ever arrest anybody.
No,
like if you watch like Lethal Weapon and shit, I don't think they ever arrest anybody.
The amount of bodies they stack up, the amount of bodies they stack up. Like you think about it, like how many people go to jail in those jail, like in like even like Bad Boys 2. Like they just went through clearing, like just clearing out everybody.
Yeah, they
my job says I have to try to take you to jail, but if you shoot at me, done.
And they even make jokes about it sometimes. They're like. My captain says I'm not supposed to do this, but Bob, it's just like Jesus, man.
Like they're telling you, like, you know what?
Fuck it.
Yeah, I have to follow the law, but not this time, buddy. I'm in the law, and it's fucked. So like for a while, my son was running around the host to me, being like, "Daddy, let's play cops." I'm like, "Nah, I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit." I gotta look over my shoulder for cops on a daily basis. I don't want to look over for you.
Let's
man.
play fire.
I don't want you to run around here being like, "Boom, shooting me, you're the bad guy." Like. It's like that complex.
It's you know,
cycle.
It's funny what can seep into your mind, like psychologically, how like little things like that can really impact your view of the world.
Very, and it was like after the George Floyd thing, like was heavy in like the news and shit, and it's like, man, like this is fucking crazy. Like these little innocent videos that are like deemed appropriate for kids on YouTube. But the psychological effect it has on them and how they view shit. And it's like, we just mindlessly like, oh, there's people like, they're like, that's so cute. And then, or not even paying attention to what their kids are watching. And like, and I'm like, I picked up on it, I was like, holy God, like this is fucked up. And then, like, now he's like, we'll be walking to school or some shit and he'll be like, Daddy, police shoot people. I'm like, oh yes, they shoot people, but they're not supposed to do that. I'm like, they protect and serve, and I'm like, he's 4, and I'm just like, how do you tell a 4-year-old like to fucking, you know, like, you want them to, you know, project that, like, you want to tell them that police are supposed to be the good guys. They're not just supposed to, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because then you have someone that grows up and they're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be a cop. I want to shoot somebody, and like. I remember I went to high school with this dude and he was like, yeah, I want to be a cop. I want to have a gun. He was a dickhead in school. I don't know if he's a cop now, but like he was a dickhead. And then like that was his reason for wanting to be a
the
fucking
biggest
cop.
dickheads at my school became cops.
And that's the reality of the fucking shit. It's like, you know what? I'm a dickhead. If I get a gun, I also have power and I can be a dickhead to whoever I want. Give me your ID. No, I don't gotta give me your ID. Bang. Beat down. And it's like, you're just a dickhead. Yeah. And it's like, so it's like, you know, it's like, fuck. Like, where do we have that shit? But yeah, back to hip hop.
No, man. I love the way the conversation just goes, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, like, you want to play fireman. You want to play fireman with the kids.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Firemen never put out fires at the wrong house. I'll tell you that.
But no one's saying fuck the fire department. No one's making songs called fuck the fire department. So.
I was listening to Marv One, shout out to Marv One. His last album that came out was called Soundtrack of Autumn, but he's got this song on it called Fire Truck. Mm-hmm. And it's talking about like when he was a kid, like, you know, when he was a kid, like all the kids he knew wanted to play with fire trucks. No, they didn't want to play with like toy police cars, right? And like how that Like, because that's another thing in hip hop too, I guess, is hip hop. You know, we just talked about the bad shit and how they're propagating the bad shit, but like how much hip hop has actually done for people, and like, you know, how it has given people to talk about, like, a voice to talk about police brutality and things like that. Like,
It gives a platform for all that shit. So it's like you have, when you're on a large platform, and also it gives anybody the voice to express how they feel about some shit.
yeah.
Like Chico's track, Defund the Police, that he did with Wooz, and who else was on that? Ghetto Socks.
Socks and
Was it Lavender? No.
yeah, Lavender,
Yeah.
and General Khan. Shout out
Yeah,
General Khan.
so you have that platform to like to speak out, and then you bring it in together where it's like, how do you change? And it's like, okay, we hear all the shit that's wrong. We hear all the shit that's wrong. Let me fucking figure out some shit. I don't know. That's the way I learned. Like a lot of my fucking like knowledge came from watching people do dumb shit and watch people fucking just like fuck up and like, holy fuck, they really fucked up.
It's
like
important
not
to
trying
learn
to
from
be there.
other people's mistakes. They say you learn from your mistakes, and that's true. But
Yeah.
like, if you're smart, you can learn from other people's mistakes, which is something I wish I did more. Because I ended up doing the exact same stupid shit I seen people do before, and I'm like, how you
have.
knew that was wrong?
We all have, and we all think we're gonna be an exception to the rules. Like
You're not.
You're like that. We always have that complex of like, oh, I'm not gonna be the guy that walks out in the street and get hit by the bus. I'm not him.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that gets hit by the bus.
Yeah.
But
Well,
in terms, we're all
Nobody's
nobody's
gonna be the guy that gets locked up. Nobody's gonna be the
Yeah.
guy that gets shot.
No, we all
In
think
their
we're the
mind
exception.
until it happens.
We always think we're the exception.
I heard once that you're somebody else to somebody else. So you
Yeah.
always think something's gonna happen to somebody else, but you're somebody
Yeah,
else to somebody else. Like-
Exactly.
like
And so I luckily my older brother, he's 9 years older than me, and he did a lot of shit, and he was like, don't do that dumb shit. And he was making sure I wasn't doing the shit. Like he's like, look how that fucked me up. Look how that fucked me up. So like I came from being in that position to like watch someone fuck up and someone tell me like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And having taken accountability for it and being like, don't do that. I did that so you don't gotta do that. So
For sure. And that's a thing about, like, another thing about hip hop is, like, even when they talk about gangsterism and stuff, like, back in the day you would talk about the pitfalls of it, or like even new guys like Benny the Butcher, you know, like the Griselda, they'll talk about the realness of it. They're not just promoting it, right? Like, Hove's so cracked, so hopefully you won't have to go through that. You know what I mean?
like crazy shit. It's like, yeah, it's like Benny is fucking nuts.
Yeah, Benny's new album, Burn the Proof, is
I'm taking it
stupid.
in.
Oh, do it. It's really good.
It's crazy, like, to think of, like, because you look at, like, Griselda, and it's like, you're like, oh, man, there's a bunch of drug dealers. But, like, nah, like, in terms, yes, but what they did to change their circumstances is what separates them from a lot of
They're
fucking
really
people.
smart.
Yeah,
like-
and it's, like, they did the rapping about the lifestyle that molded them, that 100%
Yeah.
molded them and taking them in and fucking, all right, now I'm fucking getting paid a couple hundred thousand
Yeah.
for this and this and this and this, and now I don't got to do
But
that
Benny's,
anymore.
Benny
It's
even,
it's
like, he has, like, on one of his new songs, he talks about, like, how, you know, he'd give all this shit up if he could have his brother back.
Oh, yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And, like, he talks about, like, some serious shit. Like, he talks like, God, I wish I could just think of some bars from it. But, like, you know, you can talk about, like, you know, people like Kendrick, you know, who's a shining example, talks about hood shit, but, like, from, like, an introspective lens and of, like a lens of, like, seeing shit for what it is.
Yeah, you have to see what led to that. Like, you can't just say, oh, he's a drug dealer, he's a criminal, he's a bad fucking person. But you don't know why he had to do that. Maybe he had no mother, no father. Like, maybe he was didn't get into fucking foster care, and he had two little brothers that he had to fucking make money for. Like, it's like he's just fucking 12 years old, and now he's the one running drugs back and forth, and now that's the only life he knows. And that put food on the table for them. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm a drug dealer, I make money. No, it's like I can't
this
get a
is
job.
what I
It's
gotta
like-
do.
And it's like, because kind of like the example of fucking The Wire, where fucking Michael B. Jordan's character, he was that character where he was taking care of his little brother in a fucking crack house, basically, in like a fucking...
Michael?
Michael B. Jordan, I forget his character's name in The Wire.
I think it was Michael.
And so like he was taking care of his little brother, making sure his little brother got to school every morning. Like here, like come on,
that was Michael B. Jordan. How did I not know that?
Like don't look so dusty, man. Don't look so dusty. And fucking like he is being a parent. When he's 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and like. That character doesn't come out of nowhere. That character is based on somebody's real fucking life.
Yeah. And you see him develop too. Like you see him slowly
like, I don't want
starting,
this shit.
Yeah, slowly starting to get like, because if you end up in this shit, you got to be in it, or you're gonna be out of it real quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
because you have to prepare yourself for the circumstances that the job title brings.
Like,
you can't show up to McDonald's and not know how to work a cash register or flip a burger.
Exactly.
You got to prepare for that fucking job. So preparing for the drug life, oh fuck, I got to get me a gun. I got to get me this. I got to make sure no one knows where I'm stashing this.
Well,
like, you know, like, and it's like you have this person that is actual human being that just is literally doing what they have to do to survive.
Totally. Yeah, I was watching a show called Oz, and they were talking about drugs. Like this guy was in a rehab program, right? And he wasn't doing drugs, and so he wasn't doing drugs, but he was selling drugs. And like his mentor said, you know, selling drugs is using drugs.
Because and that you said something earlier about hip hop and how it went from like being about drugs to being addicted to drugs. But in the beginning, in both ways of selling and using, its addiction to drugs because you're addicted to what the drugs bring you. And it's like, because there's some people that just can't let it go. It's like, fuck it, it's way too fucking easy. Yeah. It's way too fast. It's way too, like, you know, like, and I know people that are in that lifestyle that just fucking, it's like, they know it like the back of their hand. It's not something.
Yeah. You don't even got to think.
Yeah. And it's like, it's almost a passive fucking income. Like, it's like, I'm, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And it's so easy that they just like fucking. I'm not getting a fucking job. I'm not going back to school.
The thing is though,
and if they go back to school, they're gonna be like, "Fuck, there's a lot of potentials here. There's a lot of fucking tries here." And it's like, fuck. That's the way their fucking brains work. Maybe they could have like, if circumstances were different, that person could have fucking had a fucking Fortune 500 company or a fucking lucrative business. In any form, way, like in any other form, but you take what was available, and that's what I don't know. It's like you can't just write someone off. Is my point of that.
No, and you know, every saint has a past. Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. That's what they say, right? Like I've seen people grow a lot. You know what I mean? People change, and you know, it's in a weird way. I've even seen people use. Well, not in a weird way. I've seen people use the bad that they've done or what they've been involved in for tremendous good.
Oh fuck yeah! And so you have those people that are like we say with like Griselda, like they flipped their shit. They took their fucking dope money and created another revenue stream for themselves. You know, to make music. And how we go, like how do people relate to us? We're just real as fuck. We can rap.
Yeah.
As they can fucking see, but we're gonna give them something that they can relate to, something they can recognize and something that they understand. And when people know it's real, people are fucking behind that shit. They're like, all right, cool, I fuck with you.
Yeah.
I fuck with you, Pablo.
Yeah.
Know why? Because that story, I remember that story. I heard that story about you.
Yeah.
And then you just give it to me. And so, yeah, all kinds of shit like that.
Absolutely. Like aquaculture. Phenomenal example of somebody that turned his whole shit around.
100%.
And
shout out to aquaculture.
Shout out to aquaculture. That's the big homie. Like, just, and you know, aqua doesn't. I'm gonna take a slug of that too, if you don't mind.
Oh, here.
Getting my guests to pour the water.
Pour my shit.
But you know, aqua doesn't even really rap about. Like he does on some songs, but like for the most part, like his themes aren't just gangster. Like
no, his shit's what I've learned, what my life has turned me to learn from. Like, you know, like there's shit out there and then you just learn from it, and it's like that's what it's there for some people, and some people don't get the chance to look back at it and learn from it. Some people are just so fucking stuck in like that like rut.
Yeah.
So it's like there's very few people out there that learn from that shit and then like, all right, cool, let me fucking take this, flip it over, and keep it rolling.
Yeah. Another good example is Corey Wright.
Yeah.
Like both phenomenal artists and people.
Shout out Corey.
Yeah. They've turned it into like a learning experience for the next generation.
And that's it. It's not that like, all right, cool, I'm done with that and move on with my life. But they're using what they've went through to help fucking people.
And those people will listen because it's not just you're not just some fucking person that doesn't know what the life is like.
Yeah, like I can't tell you, like I can't go to a school and fucking sit there and have a fucking whole assembly on, but stay out of jail. Jail's horrible. I ain't never been to jail.
I ain't never been to jail.
I ain't never been to jail. I can't tell you. I could. 100% I could say, like, this is bad, it's going to derail your life, you lose this time, blah, blah, blah. But people that been in it, it's going to give you that fucking experience. It's like they're going to give you, like, when I was in there, I lost this person, I couldn't go to that funeral, and you know what? It broke me down mentally, and fucking, now my head's all over the
Our
fucking
version
place,
of that story or that assembly would be like, you know, these are the stories I've heard from people I love and people I know.
But
like,
it's always better from the horse's mouth.
From the horse's mouth, right? And that's one of the things I love most about hip hop. Like in the sense, hip hop is almost like a parent, like for some people. Like,
if you got the right artist.
If you got the right artist,
I'll give you that.
No, but for real, like, you know, I feel like I soaked up so much game from like listening to rap over the years, like not like just the little nuggets of wisdom, like, you know what I mean?
There's gems.
Like I say, my alarm clock is hustle and motivate, right? Every day when I wake up, the first thing I want to be thinking about is hustling and motivated.
It
Like-
does matter what you're fucking opening your ears to, and your fucking brain's like, all right.
Also, hip hop's taught a lot of people how to speak English, like outside.
Crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you go to like northern Quebec and stuff, like kids only know how to speak English through like hip hop and like TV.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. And it's like, whose story was this? I don't know. Someone's like, it was a famous person. They were telling me how they went on, like, they were like, I'm going to Africa and blah, blah, blah. And then they like stumble upon like a mural of Biggie and Pac on a wall in Africa. And it's like, that's crazy because it's like, and I think this was like early 2000s or some shit. And it's like, to be so influential that someone's throwing up a mural of you in Africa, where people don't generally listen to hip hop, or, you know, like, it speaks to the influence that hip hop has.